Holy shit. He said what?
I want to play you the first of these South Park clips and get you to react.
We want privacy! We want privacy!
Hey, thanks for having us on the show.
It's so awesome to be here. It's great.
This one brilliantly exposes some of the Sussexes' laughable hypocrisy. Watch.
Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy.
Look at this town. There's just something about it. Oh, darling, I think this might be the place.
You really think so? We can have a fresh start here.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
It's the biggest piece of dog
Meghan Markle is losing it over a South Park episode that straight up turned her into a cartoon joke named Maxilla. And not just any cartoon, we're talking full-on public roast. No filter, no mercy. While the rest of the world laughed, Meghan apparently took it like a personal attack, because heaven forbid anyone poke fun at the royal victim turned Hollywood PR queen. But that's not even the worst part. She's reportedly fuming, like this is some kind of global injustice instead of just satire.
Can we rally him up here and finally have our own privacy? My love, I will do anything for your privacy.
Yeah, I loved it.
But this isn't just a celeb getting salty over a few jokes. This looks more like a full-blown meltdown, the kind that rips the curtain wide open on how badly Meghan handles sharp satire, especially when it cuts a little too close. Instead of laughing it off, she's spiraling, and that reaction says way more than the cartoon ever could.
It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved here, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal.
It does seem perfect, doesn't it?
The episode doesn't hold back. Meghan gets portrayed as this completely over-the-top, toxic version of herself, basically a walking parody of her so-called woke image. It's sharp, it's brutal, and it makes zero effort to sugarcoat anything.
Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me.
And while the show's always been known for going straight for the jugular, this time it's not even the roast that's grabbing headlines, it's Meghan's meltdown. Her reaction stole the show. That outrage? It's just throwing gasoline on the fire. Instead of laughing it off, she turned it into a full-blown PR disaster that basically screams one thing: yep, they got to her.
Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting?
The more Meghan tries to shut it all down, the louder it gets. Every time she tries to censor the buzz or twist the narrative, it just blasts a spotlight straight onto what people already suspect: a fragile ego and a full-blown obsession with controlling her image. And that is exactly why this South Park episode is blowing up like wildfire.
The couple have been begging for privacy, and South Park has done a parody of this, and apparently it has really upset Meghan Markle.
Titled Maxilla, the episode doesn't just throw shade, it goes for straight-up annihilation. Meghan shows up as a giant, raging monster, stomping through everything in her path like a royal wrecking ball. This isn't subtle, and it's definitely not just parody. It's a brutal metaphor, calling out the chaos she's unleashed not only inside the royal family, but way beyond.
She's apparently spent days being upset and overwhelmed, according to sources, over this parody which picks apart all of their publicity blitz while at the same time begging privacy.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone live for controversy, but this time, they didn't just hit a nerve, they crushed it. Maxilla isn't some random cartoon gag, it's a mirror, reflecting everything critics have been screaming for years. The monster? Loud, demanding, in your face. Ring any bells? This brutal takedown didn't just rattle Meghan, it lit up a crowd of longtime critics who've watched her leave behind drama, burned bridges, and media mayhem everywhere she goes.
So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. So you're a journalist.
And here's the kicker. Meghan's desperate move to get the episode banned, it doesn't scream protection, it screams entitlement. Like, if you're gonna brand yourself as some global icon, you're not just cashing in on the glitz, you're signing up for the backlash too, especially when that spotlight flips and gets brutally satirical. You wanted the fame, Meghan, now take the heat.
You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, When?
Would you ever run for office?
No.
Never.
No.
Never. Never. Oh my gosh, I work so hard and I
you?
appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
Well, according to their tax documents, they work 1 hour a week. And she wants money to just fall into her bank account with little to no effort.
The episode doesn't stop at Maxilla stomping around like a monster. It dives straight into Meghan's carefully staged woe persona. That polished, preachy image of activism and social justice, South Park slices it to pieces. They show her as a total mess in the kitchen, a toxic chef whipping up chaos instead of change. And yeah, that metaphor isn't just spicy, it cuts deep.
What mother or father in the name of sweet Jesus has enough time to create a fruit plate at 6 o'clock on a Monday morning when there's toast throwing around the room?
It's not just a shot at her persona, it's a full-on jab at her real-world flops, like that overhyped dead-on-arrival Netflix cooking show. Critics roasted it for being all style, no soul. The failure didn't just sting, it added fuel to the fire that Meghan's activism isn't about making change, it's about looking good while pretending to.
I nearly entered rehab yesterday. That is the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen on television in my life.
I can't take it anymore. Get out, get out, get out. Uncle, make it end. Make it end.
It's a razor-sharp slap at Meghan's whole rebranding circus and how spectacularly it's stumbled in public. South Park doesn't just poke fun, it rips the mask clean off. Her activism? It doesn't come off passionate, it comes off prepped, polished, and painfully rehearsed, like she's playing a role instead of living a cause.
The episode said they're very wealthy. He's been handed everything he has on a platter. You know, they're literal royals. They're living in a multi-million-pound house in Southern California. I mean, really, what grievances do you have that most people can relate with?
By turning her so-called social justice spiel into a non-stop punchline, the satire doesn't just poke fun, it tears down whatever credibility she had left. What was supposed to feel inspiring now looks scripted, strategic, and completely hollow. But the real twist? Meghan's reaction. Trying to shut the episode down didn't just flop, it lit up every single thing South Park was roasting.
You can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is. South Park has done episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance. So it's not something that they would be able to sue about. And I generally just don't believe it, really.
In today's viral circus, trying to cancel comedy is like dumping gasoline on a bonfire. It's gonna blow. Instead of letting it die out, Meghan cranked the volume, making sure millions more tuned in just to see what rattled her royal ego. And that silence she tried to force? It backfired hard, making her look even more insecure, obsessed with her image, and totally incapable of handling a cartoon roast.
This particular episode was quite scathing in the grains of truth that it held. You know, I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon, but there's so many moments of truth in that episode that makes it so funny. The episode called what they were doing a worldwide privacy tour, which is obviously play on really what they're trying to do.
This whole meltdown puts a giant spotlight on a double standard that's impossible to ignore. Meghan demands to tell her story, her way, with every detail under lock and key. But the second someone else tells it differently, suddenly, it's a full-blown emergency. Most people laugh off a little satire, but Meghan? She threw a tantrum that only made things worse. Her outrage didn't kill the joke, it supercharged it, firing up critics, daring comedians to go harder, and kicking off the exact media storm she was trying to dodge.
But they couldn't have imagined being made a laughingstock by the cult cartoon South Park.
To a lot of people, this is just another rerun from Meghan's greatest hits. Spin the story, control the optics, silence anyone who pushes back. It's the same tired strategy she's clung to since the royal debut, and now it's falling apart. Because the Maxilla episode, that's not just comedy, it's a scalpel. It slices right through the fake PR shine, the Netflix fluff, the victim branding machine, and exposes the raw truth, a woman clinging to the spotlight, dripping in entitlement, and ready to blow the second things stop going her way.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
The satire hits hard because it taps into something real, the growing exhaustion with Meghan's nonstop I'm misunderstood routine while still shoving herself into the spotlight. Yeah, the episode mocks her, but more than that, it mirrors a cultural shift. People aren't buying the perfectly packaged victim act anymore, and South Park just said out loud what millions have been thinking.
They're putting themselves on the world stage using expensive PR while demanding privacy, while writing books, while being on Oprah that had 50 million viewers. People who want privacy don't do that. You live your life quietly in privacy. So it's such hypocrisy. I think they did a brilliant job.
And the fact that Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't flinch, that silence from them, it speaks volumes. No one, no matter how rich, polished, or power-hungry, gets a free pass from being dragged. And Meghan Markle, for all her effort to duck the heat, still stands as one of the easiest, most deserving targets out there. Her rage over Maxilla isn't just a tantrum, it's another dramatic meltdown in a never-ending saga of entitlement, media stumbles, and backlash she just keeps fueling herself.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
They nailed it. They nailed it.
I think he goes on to say, so you wrote a book talking about your family. Does that not make you a journalist too? And then they kind of stare at each other like dumbfounded.
By trying to yank the episode off the air, Meghan didn't just flop, she gifted her critics a win on a silver platter. This meltdown didn't bury the image she's been running from, it blew it up. She's shown the world exactly what they suspected, a public figure so wrapped in her own narrative that any pushback feels like a personal attack. And with that, she's locked in her title as one of the most divisive names in the Royal Drama Hall of Fame. If there's any shot at a comeback, it starts with one brutal truth. In the spotlight, satire isn't optional, it's guaranteed. You can either laugh with it or let it eat you alive.
They say they hate journalists. Harry hates journalists. But to pay PR, who say what you want and who, shape social perception in your favor while also disparaging and lying about others, thereby reaching their privacy, I think the whole, worldwide privacy tour is hysterical.
As the world watches Meghan spiral over Maxilla, one thing's crystal clear. The more she fights it, the deeper she sinks into a PR nightmare she cannot escape. This South Park episode isn't just a punchline, it's a public reckoning. It rips the gloss off her carefully crafted image and shows the cracks, the contradictions, and the chaos she's been trying to hide. And while the jokes hit hard, it's her panicked attempt to ban the episode that really exposes the truth, a non-stop obsession with control and a glaring lack of self-awareness.
Harry last year wrote a book called Spare, which smashed his brother, his father, his mother-in-law, his sister-in-law, the media, and many, many others in one giant whinge.
It was just sterile and awful, and I hate her. I'm so sorry, I really do.
Now, I don't know what he and his wife expected from this. Was it pity, sympathy at their hard life, or just the millions of dollars they've earned from betraying Harry's family?
One of the most savage truths the satire exposes is Meghan's messy love-hate dance with the media. She spent years crying press villain, yet somehow she's always dead center in the drama, stirring up headlines with leaks, lawsuits, and attention-hungry interviews. South Park doesn't let that slide. They call it out with zero chill, painting her not as the victim, but as the chaos queen. It's the ultimate contradiction, trashing the media while using it like a megaphone. That whole play the victim then light a fire routine, it might have worked once, but now it's burning through what's left of her credibility.
Meghan, it's just like we see right through your fake behavior, and no amount of saying how kind you are is going to make people think, oh, isn't she so kind? All of the nasty things you have done, we know.
Instead of earning support, Meghan's strategy is pushing people away fast. The more she leans into the drama, the more she comes off not as misunderstood, but as calculated and self-obsessed. And South Park nails that contradiction. They call out the bizarre clash between her constant cry for privacy and her non-stop chase for the spotlight. That's what makes the satire hit so hard, and why it's striking a nerve with so many viewers. The episode doesn't just mock, it zooms in on how Meghan's whole vibe feels more scripted than sincere. From the Oprah waterworks to every perfectly posed press moment, she's starting to look less like a person and more like a PR robot.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
My wife is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of color.
Who just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there.
Maxilla, Meghan's cartoon alter ego, storms around in full diva mode, screaming, stomping, and convinced the world revolves around her. And the wild part? Critics say those over-the-top tantrums aren't even a stretch. They see Meghan's public meltdowns as carefully staged, more about optics than honesty. By leaning hard into that caricature, South Park drops a brutal truth bomb, showing how Meghan's attempt to break free from the royal mold has only made her look more disconnected from reality. It's a savage take, pulling back the curtain on someone trapped between royal fantasy and celebrity chaos. No crown, no filter, nowhere to run. And the next gut punch? The show doesn't stop at the drama, it targets her failure to build any real bonds, especially with the royals. Maxilla's path of destruction isn't just cartoon chaos, it's a symbol of the wreckage Meghan's left behind.
I've read Spare, I've read it cover to cover. They are a damaged couple. They are people in trauma.
We want our privacy and safety, but we'll go be at Beyonce concerts and do whatever we want. Oh, look at him. It's my fox. Oh, yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
According to critics, Meghan's left behind a trail of broken relationships, shattered trust, and real damage inside the monarchy. Reports of behind-the-scenes drama, royal clashes, and staff walkouts only back up what South Park threw in our faces in cartoon chaos, a non-stop grab for control that ends up leaving her more isolated than ever. That monster imagery? It's not just for laughs, it's a metaphor for the fallout of her own choices. Every power move seems to cost her something real, like loyalty, respect, or any actual human connection. And maybe the most powerful part of all this? Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't blink. They didn't censor, soften, or apologize. While Meghan hides behind curated narratives and progressive PR masks, South Park throws a punch right through it, reminding us that satire still matters, especially when it targets unchecked influence. In an age where celebrities script every syllable, this cartoon claps back, saying the quiet part out loud. Their refusal to cave in hits right at the heart of Meghan's PR machine. Instead of giving in to her demands, they double down on the one truth she can't rewrite. No one, not even a duchess, is above scrutiny, especially when that scrutiny reflects what people already believe. Meghan's panicked attempt to bury the Maxilla episode didn't shield her image, it nuked it. The traits the show mocked, entitlement, control, the never-ending victim complex, they've now become her whole identity. And the most brutal part? It's not the cartoon, it's how painfully accurate it feels. This isn't just comedy, it's a cultural gut check. A mirror Meghan can't seem to face without falling apart.
If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRA, she got everything that allowed her to rise up and have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
And unless Meghan finally looks in the mirror and faces the mess head-on, her public image is just going to keep crumbling. Maxilla has already morphed into more than a cartoon character. It's a full-blown warning sign. The polished mask is cracking, and the more she lashes out, the deeper that crack runs. Her outrage over one satirical sketch isn't just overkill, it's revealing a celeb spiraling into total paranoia, clutching at a narrative that's already slipped through her fingers. This isn't just a cartoon controversy, it's the collapse of a brand that was built on control, curation, and illusion. Her demand to kill the South Park episode doesn't scream outrage, it screams fear. Fear of criticism, fear of losing grip, fear of being exposed. But instead of pausing, learning, or even pretending to take the hit with grace, she rolled out the same tired playbook, trying to silence, spin, and suppress. And this time, it blew up in her face. It made the distance between her and the public even wider, especially with people already doubting if she's ever been authentic at all. Because let's be honest, this kind of meltdown doesn't come from strength. It comes from someone who can't take the smallest hit without falling apart. From lawsuits to blackouts, the pattern's always the same. Control the narrative until the backlash makes it worse. And now, the viral rise of Maxilla proves the rule. When you try to shut down criticism, you don't erase it, you hand it a megaphone. Meghan's reaction didn't project confidence, it spotlighted insecurity. And here's the question nobody can ignore. If she can't handle a cartoon roast, how is she going to survive real public life outside palace walls? South Park didn't just mock, it captured a turning point. People are tired of Meghan's moral compass persona. The activist mask is slipping, and the satire cuts through it by showing her as a toxic chef and a wrecking ball. That's not a coincidence. It reflects all the doubts about her true motives. Between staff complaints, constantly shifting statements, and headline-chasing interviews, it's no wonder the satire hits like a hammer. This kind of exposure is brutal for anyone trying to play global humanitarian. Instead of lifting her up, Maxilla yanked her back into the spotlight she was trying to control, and not in a flattering way. Her dream of being a universally loved icon just took a massive hit. The cartoon didn't just survive, it sparked a firestorm tearing through the last bits of Meghan's PR shield. And at the center of it all? A woman stuck in her own contradictions, desperate to steer the story, but no longer in the driver's seat. Her rage over Maxilla doesn't scream power, it shows how fragile the whole act really is. This isn't just a PR stumble, it's a full-scale meltdown, a branding collapse. The version of Meghan Markle the world was supposed to admire, perfect, polished, untouchable, just got ripped apart. Maxilla stripped away the sparkle and showed us someone who can't handle even a cartoon critique without imploding. And by trying to shut it down, Meghan confirmed everything the episode mocked. Because when satire cuts this deep and the only response is outrage, the problem isn't the comedy, it's the person being dragged. Maxilla may be a cartoon, but the impact is real. It exposed a pattern, a persona, and a desperate obsession with control. And the harder Meghan fights it, the louder the truth gets. People aren't buying the performance anymore. The critics aren't backing down. They're multiplying. So now what? When your brand has become more punchline than platform, where do you even go next? If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just about South Park. It's about a cultural shift, a reckoning, and a celebrity who thought she was untouchable, until a cartoon called her bluff. Let us know what you think. Did South Park go too far, or did they just say what everyone's been thinking? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more savage breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe. We're just getting started.